What if not knowing could actually be a blessing in disguise? Today we're going to dive into what it is about kind of keeping a blank mind, especially when you feel the call to show up and share and create for the world around you. And how can you start to really tap into this strength of being almost like the blank slate? So get comfortable and let's dive right into it. Welcome to the channel, you guys. My name's Fola, and here we talk all things magic and ways in which you can start to tap into your personal truth. I recently attended a webinar where the hosting coach shared in the hot seat about not always having all the knowing of what he was going to say or the inspirational kind of content prepped prior to bringing someone into a hot seat or doing a coaching session. And he just basically said that his mind is always blank, and that's when the best stuff comes up. And this really had me thinking about many of you who've been coming and watching videos faithfully, perhaps those of you who've just kind of come across this content for the first time today, and including myself, having hosted many different group circles, online, like videos, live, different webinars, and recognizing that sometimes our mind can be almost our greatest trickster, that ego mind can tell us that we need to get it right, we need to get it perfect, that we need to know what it is we're going to say. And even as I'm coming on to this video, to be honest, I could find myself trying to figure out what needed to be said. But what this coach was sharing to the person sitting in the hot seat that I really wanted to come on here and just reiterate and encourage you wherever you are on your path is this recognition that inside of you, your body, your intuition, your soul knows exactly what is meant to come through. And my opinion is that we are all these vessels or containers in which the light, spirit, source gets to enter in and do and create and share what is at the highest level, the highest interest or best interest for whomever, whoever, whatever is meant to receive it. It does not come from an intellectual ego mind set, okay? The ego wants you to feel safe and comfortable, yes, but this is about us reconnecting to this inner knowing, this body knowing, that unfortunately has been shut down throughout centuries and millennia, especially for different marginalized groups, for maybe more the feminine energies in the world. We've gone through this collective damning for this intuitive body knowing and listening and having this recognition of this vessel and recognition of what spirit can do as it enters, or even the word of spirit entering means possession. Many different African cultures and spiritual practices, many different indigenous cultures, they know that this possession, the spirit entering into the vessel of the human, can be so beneficial. But in our Western world, various religious kind of dogmatic views, they've made this as wrong. So whatever you might be holding around that, I just want to invite you to be willing to just recognize it as it is, and it's okay. Sometimes, as we go through life, the duality of what we think is good and what we think is not so good, it's meant to happen so that we can align more into our personal truth, align into that middle point. And like I said, before me coming on here to actually film, even my mind's thinking, well, maybe I need to make a script. Maybe I need to write out some talking points and get it right. For me, it's that perfectionism. And I'm sure for many of you, the same thing. But it's like there is something greater happening here. This is spirit using us and wanting us to trust that it's okay and it's safe now for us to be in body, to be in the present moment. And I can tell you that through all my experiences of, hosting and facilitating groups and one-on-one situations, I can be, I guess, in my most powerful self when I let my egoic, rational thinking mind, that part of me that has benefits in so many other areas, but when I can just let it kind of take the back seat and let the driver be spirit, be the higher self, be this body knowing, this stillness and presence. It's like something just snaps on and spirit moves through and uses me in whatever way. And the same can happen for you. You just have to believe that there is something greater beyond what your logical kind of conscious mind is maybe hoping for, perceiving, or maybe picking up on the inklings of what is possible. It comes from this connection to your womb, connection to that grounding kind of center point in your body beneath the navel. Okay, as much as maybe some of the older traditions talk about third eye connection and vision, yes, we can vision there, but the knowing comes from inside your body. By awakening and activating this, I have, different videos on ways you can do this. One simple technique I'll invite you to is just place a hand on your low belly. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. And just take a few deep breaths into that place. Maybe even imagining a ball of light growing, getting brighter in that place. Just speaking to that part of your body to awaken. To bring a sense of connection to your present moment. And this is drawing energy from the head, from the mind, down into this low belly, the center point. When you're in this part of your body, no one can push you around literally physically. You have a center of gravity here. So just noticing whatever you notice from that simple awareness practice of bringing your energy down into that womb space, down into that center of gravity. And so you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know what you're going to say next. You don't have to have all your talking points perfectly organized. Let's be honest, I think most of humanity wants something more real and natural anyway. They want to see you showing up as yourself. And in that session that I witnessed, this person in the hot seat and their nervous laughter and just their personality coming out, even though they didn't know what they were going to be saying in response to the questions being asked by the coach, they showed up. They were able to respond. They were proving themselves wrong, I guess, around what their concern was. I say wrong, but it's they were just giving themselves and everyone watching evidence that actually what they were speaking was not true. Because what we actually saw was this very bubbly and in the flow personality, this person who could just go with it and had a very authentic way of being. And I think that's the main way in which we are all being called. That's kind of the purpose of this channel, I would say, is how do we show up in our truth, our personal way, in our magic, aligned with our true will. So what is that for you? What does it look like? What maybe needs to shift in your mindset? And that can just simply be acknowledging what those needs are for perfectionism, getting it right, or whatever the case might be, proving something, whatever it might be that's kind of pulling you towards needing to know before you enter into that thing that you're being called to create or share with the world. For many of you, that might be making videos on YouTube or sharing other content elsewhere, maybe writing that book, maybe hosting that webinar or that group event, maybe starting your personal practice or business, whatever that might be. Maybe it's even just having a conversation with someone at the coffee shop that you've been feeling oh, I just want to get to know that person, but I don't know what I'm going to say or how I'm going to say it. Can you just trust that you just showing up, breathing into that space at your center that's going to ground you, and then trust that The words coming through are exactly what needs to come through. We just never know what we're going to say and how that's going to make an impact. And we can't judge the impact as good or bad. That's a huge part. I know for myself, it's like, I want to make sure I say the right thing. Am I going to cause harm? This probably is from my many years working as a psych nurse. Many years of growing up in a household where it's like my words really impacted people because they let it impact them. They didn't do their work. And so when you go through life and you're feeling like you are having to censor what you're saying, that I think is a huge part as to why you want to know. Right? So whatever traumas or experiences you had as a child, just being willing to acknowledge them, and that's okay. We're going to call to the angels, to your ancestors, your spirit guides to support you with healing, but also just recognizing whatever wants to be kind of pulled, like the threads to be pulled and integrated into your here now moment so that you can really fully step into who it is you're meant to be here. Thank you, angels. Just taking a deep breath in and receiving whatever that energetic process is for you, whatever insights are showing up. And with that being said, can you just trust that your words, no matter whatever they are that they come out, knowing that if you are coming from a centered place, meaning you are coming from like not a emotionally charged place that could cause harm, right? Because that's just how humans are, that's how we are. But your words can make an impact and lead people to the next step. That's all that we're doing here, because it's Spirit speaking through us, guiding us, using us to just kind of, I guess I want to say, like weave these threads of the reality of our lives. And it's individual, it's collective, and you're here for a reason. And I want to just share what this coach said, and I loved it. I don't believe that this is he's a Jewish person at all, but he specifically identified the kind of Jewish translation of the word humility. And it's stepping into your God-given purpose. Like really fully taking that place of who you are, no matter how small or how big. It has nothing to do with the concept of, oh, I know my place and I'm humble, you know, even though I maybe am in a place of like more power or leadership or whatever. This humility from this like Jewish context, and I'm going to have to look up the word. I didn't get a chance to do that before filming this. This concept of humility really being that you're willing to take up the space and be in the role, be in your God-given direction of life, no matter what, no matter how big, no matter how small, and you're willing to walk it out. So know that you don't have to know what you're going to say, how you're going to go about doing it. Just trust that that might actually be the biggest blessing, not knowing, because it allows Spirit to move through you. So I hope this information, the share was, an encouragement to you wherever you are on your journey. If you would like to dive deeper, I invite you just to hit subscribe. Follow along. I share lots of different insights, practices, and magical ways in which you can connect to this true will and your truth. And there's also the community membership here on YouTube. If you go to my channel page, you can hit the join button. And there's 3 different tiers of the membership. There's like the first tier, which literally costs like no more than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So I guess nowadays Starbucks is like so expensive. But if you would like to just receive, weekly card pulls and other inspirational content, then you can head to the join button and join the Zelator first tiered membership. And I have other tiers if you're looking for a bit deeper. Anything higher or at the practicus and higher level of the tiered memberships, I'm going to start sharing monthly energy healings that are going to dive into a particular theme. So if this is something that interests you, I invite you to head over there. We do new moon rituals every month, and there's just lots of juicy ways in which we can connect with each other in community, knowing that you're not alone, especially if you have like the magical curiosities that I hold. There's a way for you to tap into that and let it feed you. And I hope that I can continue to support you in that way if you feel called. So I hope you enjoyed this and share it with someone that maybe needs to hear these words. And until the next video, you guys, I'll see you soon. Take care.